What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, episode 71. And we are the Nintendo podcast, a part of the 8-Bit Collective. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and with me, as always, is my best buddy, Bryce DeWitt. This episode is our review. Jesus, you've thrown me off. I've thrown myself off. I can't blame you. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I was about to say, blame me for your jumble.
Yeah, this week, this is our review discussion for Let's Go Pokemon. Oh, Jesus, I'm everywhere today. Bloody hell. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. We've played a ton over the weekend, and we're going to be getting into that soon. But to start off, Bryce...
spoilers.
You want to go into spoilers?
Yeah, there'll be spoilers in this episode without a doubt. I think, like, if we want to talk about it, and
yeah.
I think it's pretty. If you played Pokemon Yellow or Pokemon Fire Red, you typically know what you're getting into.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so it's fine.
But just before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about the Detective Pikachu trailer that launched last week. This really took me by surprise. What do you think?
So yeah, I'm surprised it popped up when it did. I suppose it was due for something soon. It looks really good.
It does. It looks awesome, actually.
Like I understand there's some people that are just like, oh, it's kind of creepy, but you know what? I think a lot of the issues I've seen are like Mr. Mime is really creepy, and
he's always creepy though. He
looks great.
Yeah,
he looks great.
Yeah, I really liked Mr. Mime. Probably the one Pokemon that made me go, it's a bit different. It was Jigglypuff. Not because it's bad or anything. It just looks different to.
It's just really furry.
Yeah, it looks like one of those. What are they called? Furbies. Those toys. It looked like one of them.
Oh yeah.
Which is fine. Like I'm not against Furbies here or anything. You know, I'm a Furby lover. Not really.
He loves some Furbies.
I love the Furbies.
Weeble Wabba or whatever they say.
But when they announced they're making a Detective Pikachu movie,
this has been like forever since they've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool, whatever. I didn't care at all. Like the game's good. That came out earlier this year, and yeah, I was fine with it. But when the trailer dropped, I'm like, wow, this looks awesome.
Looks great.
All the little references in there to the mainline games.
They got Ryan Reynolds voicing it, which, you know, I think that was a rumor that came out a while ago.
I think it was a rumor, then they announced it,
and everybody was confused.
Yeah, because like Deadpool was out like around the same time.
Yeah,
and you can just imagine like the things what Deadpool's saying coming out of Pikachu's mouth.
I think like, and this is something that I mentioned somewhere on the internet somewhere, but. For the type of personality that Pikachu has, he's the perfect voice cast.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people want to like, that spunky Danny DeVito for the meme value or whatever you want to call it. And I think like Danny DeVito would have worked fine if like Pikachu was just this like typical I'm the head honcho type of detective. I know everything. I'm Sherlock Holmes type of deal.
Yeah, well,
but he's not.
Like in the actual game, he is that character. He's like, oh yes, I'm looking for the clues. I'm a detective. But in this, he just seems like a normal Pikachu, which is like, hey, let's do this. Let's actually help each other and find your dad.
Yeah.
So it comes across more like that, which I guess they probably went that way because of Ryan Reynolds being the voice for Pikachu. Maybe.
No, I think the storyboarding would have happened all through that. I just think it's more appealing to a wider range of audience to have that.
Yeah, it's a funner character.
Yeah. It's a more fun character. Like you get the people that are like, oh, it should have been Danny DeVito, and then you think of Danny DeVito Pikachu, and then you're just like, you know what? That'd probably be funny to older people, but I'm not sure kids would get a kick out of it or whatever. And in the end, this movie is for a PG audience.
Yeah,
it's not going to be anything over the top or serious or whatever. It has a really like darkish sort of vibe, but it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be like, who killed this hooker with a knife? I don't,
Well, there was a car that blew up. That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, but they're like anything
Sure,
could have been in that car. It could have
Yeah.
been like, oh, hey, look, it was just like the information on where he needed to find his dad. But then someone was like, haha, I'm blowing it up.
That's pretty dark, man. Like, how many times in your life does someone just blow up a car?
Yeah, but were their lives lost?
So that's the question. Were their lives lost in that car? We won't know until we watch the movie.
Yes, that's a serious question. We ask the serious questions here on the House of Mario this week.
We do.
All right.
One question that's very serious is going to our Detective Pikachu thoughts and review discussion. But just before we start that, whenever we're provided codes or games by companies, we'll be sure to let you know, just so you know where we're coming from. And with this game, Nintendo Australia was actually kind enough to give us a copy of Let's Go Pikachu plus the Pokeball Go Plus.
Yes, indeed.
But I had my pre-order on the eShop already there, and Bryce went and bought the game himself as well. So
it was basically the Pokeball Plus we got sent.
Yeah.
And you know what? That aside, though, I'm really gracious. Thank you, Nintendo, for
absolutely.
acknowledging us in that respect. That's something that we were working towards, and now we're finally at that sort of level. And yeah, but
thank you very much to the team at Nintendo Australia for keeping us in mind and sending us a product to talk about. Yeah.
With that said, though, despite it being sent, we're very much going to give you honesty. So if you have any doubts or whatever, just take it at our word. Honestly, it's Pokemon, and we're going to be very excited talking about this to some degree.
Just go back to the episode when they announced these games, how excited we were.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it from that perspective. This is because I don't know. I'm having a really positive time with the game. We'll talk about that, obviously. It's really hard bringing it up when you think about it, because you're kind of just like, they've been paid. But no, we haven't. We haven't been paid anything.
No. And we're hoping this can sort of help us bring our opinions and that to you more faster and
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we got this copy launch day, so it wasn't early as per such, but in the future there's obviously time for that to flourish, and we'll probably end up with stuff early.
Yeah, hopefully.
Which we'll be able to talk to you about it.
Which would be great for the podcast and great
on the day
for you guys listening. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we want to give you guys as much non-spoilerific information as possible on the day it launches, with day one episodes and stuff like that. So it's definitely a step towards the future for us. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I was ecstatic when they reached out and said, "Hey, we've got a copy for you."
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since Pokemon and Smash, they're the two big things for us this year. It's massive. We don't know if we'll see anything for Smash. We really hope so. But we'll see.
Absolutely. So with Pokemon Let's Go, I was thinking about it. How would I put it the way I feel about it? And today, when I went to work, when you go on a really good holiday and you come back to work, you're like, oh, I want to go back on holiday. That's how I felt about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I played it all weekend, got home Friday night, played it to late then, played it most of the weekend. I put 22 hours, 23 hours in on just the weekend, finished the game, beat the Elite Four, and did a little bit of post-game stuff.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. Mm-hmm. Just the new mechanics, or lack of mechanics, however you want to put it, didn't phase me at all.
No, yeah.
I really, 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 really like the new battle on the catching mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're great. I love how it encourages you to catch Pokemon and isn't just like, oh, I don't have that, or I have that, don't worry about it, run away, whatever. How did you feel about it?
Okay, so I think the best thing the best way I can describe my thoughts about the game in general. Because now we've both finished it. I've freshly finished it today. You finished it yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think the best way I could sort of summarize it is this. Beforehand, my excitement in the trailer was huge. I was really, really looking forward to it because that trailer warmed my heart. I loved it. Further on down the line, I think it was just one of those times where it was just like, you know what, maybe I should just step down off the hype ladder a little bit, and I did. I played it at PAX, and I was just like, it's okay. You know, I didn't really think much of it at PAX. I'm just like, it is Pokemon though, so you know, I'll be picking it up. It's quite obvious. But when I picked it up on that Friday and brought it home about 2:00 in the afternoon or something like that, and I started playing, hell, I enjoyed it a lot more just sitting at home and starting my adventure in Kanto again.
Yeah.
Like, I've replayed Kanto games so many times, whether it be the original...
We've been there a lot of times now, yeah.
Original 3 games, or Fire Red Leaf Green, or, you know, it's... Or even just going to Kanto and Gold, Silver, Crystal.
And Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
And Heart Gold, Soul Silver, you know.
Yeah.
I've been to Kanto so many times, it's hard to count, and, you know, I know that region from the back of my hand. But God, it's overwhelming how much childlike wonder and fun I got out of Let's Go. I was really bothered by battle mechanics to begin with, the more I thought about it. But you know what? You're right. Catching mechanics, they really do encourage you to catch as many Pokemon as possible. They make it really quick. They don't make it an arduous process. They reward you for catching more once you've transferred them to the professor in candies and stuff like that. The more of a chain you get when you're shiny hunting or something. If you just keep chaining those Pokemon, your EXP multiplier gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so you start leveling Pokemon really quickly.
I absolutely love the chaining mechanic.
Yeah.
I hope this is a mechanic, maybe not the throwing with motion controls, maybe not just the not battling the wild Pokemon, but I hope the chaining stays in all future Pokemon games.
Yep.
I absolutely love it. I think, like, going back to Sun and Moon, where they've got the SOS battles, where you can find stronger Pokemon and more likely for shinies, and like, that wasn't fun.
No,
that wasn't fun.
It wasn't, especially like if you're hunting particular Pokemon like Salandit or something.
Yeah, but this is a lot of fun. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I agree.
I had a few times where I'm like, I'm not too fussed about progressing the story right now, and I just go to a route and I'd try and look for a stronger Pokemon or hopefully find a shiny.
Yeah. And
especially it's like, oh, well, you catch all these Pokemon, I've got nothing to do with them. Well, you do, because you can transfer them to Professor Oak for the candies, and you can level up, or you can...
it's not just like, hey, look, I just hatched 50 eggs and then just dumped them all for no reason.
Yeah, because, like, was it in Pokemon Heart Gold, I was looking for a good Larvitar.
Yeah.
And, not Larvitar, who am I thinking of? No, I am thinking Larvitar.
You are thinking
I was thinking between Larvitar and Pupitar. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. Anyway, I had, like, 90 of them.
Yeah.
3 boxes full. Then you just have 90
useless Larvitar.
Yeah, it's like, cool. You've got nothing to do with them. And that's what every Pokemon game has been before. But now you can chain, and you can get to the 31, which pretty much maxes out your chances of
finding shinies.
Yeah, well, shinies and perfect IV Pokemon.
Yep.
As well. Once you reach the 31, you can get potentially 6 perfect IVs on your Pokemon, which means just perfect stats. And yeah, that's great. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So I think the best example of the motivation for that was probably the only time I've shiny hunt during the entire thing. And it's also a little bit of a concern to a degree as well. You'll find EXP is really scarce in battles.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't really motivate you to battle much, but it motivates you to capture heaps, and I'm not sure how I feel on that.
It is weird, because even in the Pokemon League, your Pokemon are getting 800
experience. Yeah.
It's like weird.
It's really minor.
Yeah, and when you're when I'm doing this chaining, I'm getting like sometimes 1,000, sometimes not much, depending
for
on
every Pokemon.
Depends on how well you're doing at catching that certain Pokemon at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but if you're going well, you can your party just levels up. I did. I was looking for a shiny Growlithe in Route 9, and I actually found it.
Yeah,
and I was ecstatic. And throughout the game, I had a shiny Arcanine to ride everywhere. Yeah, so that was awesome. But when I was doing those comboing, I got my Pokemon up to like level 40. Yeah. And that was either before or just after the 3rd gym. Yep. Which is unheard of. If you had your Pokemon that level in Fire Red Leaf Green, everyone would be like, have you just been there grinding for 20 hours? I was like, yes, I have.
So, I got my potential Vulpix chain up to 65 before it broke. And after I'd come out of that chain, I realised how much damn candies I had.
A few.
Like, literally just from chaining alone, and then, transferring over to Professor Oak after that, I had even more. You get so many, and it, like... I think a big concern for me was they introduced Master Trainers a little while ago, and they were kind of like, hey, look, it's the way to...
It's your post-game, something to do.
Yeah. It's your answer to post-game, your raise Pokemon, and some of those Pokemon might just be something stupid as, like, Caterpie.
Well, it's all of the Pokemon. It's all 100, it's 151 Pokemon all have a Master Trainer. Jesus. So Caterpie has a Master Trainer, Charizard has a Master Trainer,
Dear
Mewtwo
Lord.
has a Master Trainer. They all have someone to face.
Dear Lord. Just thinking of it from that perspective, it's kind of just like, well, what's your motivation to shiny hunt? What's your motivation to keep chaining? It's like, well, you get candies. Now, just thinking of it from that perspective, if you take its tie-in, which is Pokemon Go, which I'll talk about later, candies were the only way to get your Pokemon's CP up in Pokemon Go. Mm-hmm. So the stigmatization around that before the game come out was just like, I don't want that. I don't want to have candies to level up or anything like that. But no, they act more like pseudo HP up, attack up.
That's exactly what they are.
That's exactly what they are.
Then there's the certain candies which are like, the Pikachu candy or the...
That raise all the stats at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for shinies as well, and then you kind of just like, I still want to do Master Trainer content and stuff like that, you still can, but you can supplement your stat differences and stuff like that with the Master Trainers Pokemon and stuff like that by going shiny hunting, because the candies that you earn from a massive chain is huge, and then you can just use those candies, feed them all hell to your Pokemon, and just... absolutely...
Is there a limit
make them beef yourself?
Like in the other games?
I'm not even sure.
I haven't fed that many candies to my Pokemon at all, to be honest. It's only like a few to Pikachu and...
I'm not actually sure. I think I raised my my Alolan Ninetales. I think I raised her speed up like 50 points.
Oh, really?
Or something like that. But I don't know
Wow.
if there's an actual cap.
There have to be. You can't just get...
Yeah, but my thing with these games is I am almost 100% certain that we're not going to see a way to transfer these Pokemon over.
No, I don't think there will be either.
No.
And I've also got no desire to be honest, either.
Not really. Not from Let's Go.
I'm happy this to be its own isolated thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but it says like the CP of the Pokemon, but I never actually looked at it or used it. I just played this as a normal Pokemon RPG.
I mean, I've looked at it.
I mean, I look at it, but I'm looking at the individual stats rather than just...
Oh yeah, because that's the Pokemon player, and you being like...
Yeah.
That's what that is. But CP is in there as a value for people who may have played Go, and they understand the value of CP more than they do individual stats.
I mean, it's easy just to glance at it and go, okay, he's got 1,000, he's got 500. Obviously, who's the stronger one?
Yeah.
Rather than go, he's got more. This Pokemon has more speed, but its attack is way down. So
yeah, so I really should be focusing on this one and leveling this one up. Yeah, it's just a way to simplify for people that sort of go into it, and it is generalization to note that it really is a simple Pokemon game.
It's not as simple as I thought, though.
No, it's not as simple as I thought. No, but I think I'm just staring at the box while it's distracting. I just think, yes, there we go.
There you go. Put it up right next to my face.
Oh, beautiful.
Who's cuter, Pikachu or me?
Oh, sorry, Pikachu wins.
Oh, bugger.
I think you can agree.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have big anime eyes and red cheeks.
Little cheeks.
I've got nice little cheeks, bro.
So, you've completely thrown me off.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you threw yourself off. You're still looking at Pikachu. I don't know.
He's good. He's a good boy.
Yeah, no, he's a great boy.
It's more complex than I thought it would be. You stop fucking. It's less simple than I thought it would be. It certainly has its own way with things, but I know for a fact that because it's so drastic, it's not going to affect the future of any of your other games, like by any standard, if at all.
I don't think it will.
No, I think they're trying to keep it isolated, much how they were just in red, blue, and yellow days when that's all you had. And you know what? That's fine.
Because going into it, I thought they were going to get rid of natures. I thought IVs, EVs weren't going to be a thing. I thought they were going to really make it basic. Like, this is a Pikachu, it's electric type, these are its moves. That's what I thought they were going to do with the game. But they've still got the natures in there. I only found that out a couple of days before the game come out. I saw a video and someone's going through the stat screen, and it's they do have natures, and they do have the EVs and IVs still. And I think that's really awesome because it's basic enough. They don't have their abilities, held items, or things like that. So you can strip those things back, because in competitive play, you're really thinking about what your item's going to be, how your moves are going to use the ability,
how your abilities are going to affect the outcome of a battle. Yeah. It's like, it seems so weird just thinking about that, but them stripping abilities has changed the game back to so much back to its own roots.
Yeah. And it felt really weird because going up against Pokemon against Voltorb or Pikachu or whoever it might be, a few times I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking, all right, I can't use a physical attack on this Pokemon because it's going to have the static ability, which is going to paralyze me if I make contact with it. I'm like, wait a minute, no abilities, and I just beat the crap out of
it. yeah, that's it. Yeah, it definitely caught me off a couple times too. The trainer battles, like I said before, to really take sort of a backseat to it. But in saying that, going and seeing all these trainers, if you played Fire Red Leaf Green or Red Blue Yellow, or green if you're in Japan, they're all pretty much 100% the same. And I remember 90% of these quotes, in and before and after battle, the gym leaders stay pretty true to themselves. They pop up a little more often.
Yeah, I remember Camper Drew. That's one that stood out to me. I remember
it's Camper Drew.
I remember you on this route here.
Yeah. There was, you know what? There is one thing that really struck me while I was playing.
What's that?
You know how many times I went through Rock Tunnel without actually having Flash?
I did too, yeah.
So I forgot completely. I'm just you know what? I don't know the layout of Rock Tunnel because I've completely forgotten. Because with the way super techniques work in the game is replacing HMs. I think that's a really good idea because, God, HMs are a pain in the butt.
Thank God. Yeah.
But just walking into the cave, it's Eevee's using Flash. Cool. And it's only for one area in the game. Only for one.
It literally is, isn't it? Yeah.
Literally only for one area in the game. Rock Tunnel. That's it. So it's just kind of having that and then going through Rock Tunnel. I'm just you know what? I'd almost completely forgotten the layout of Rock Tunnel because I just cheesed my way through it every single time.
I did too. There's a few areas in Ruby and Sapphire where I cheesed my way through too. Yeah.
And there's a lot of little convenience tidbits like that with Pokemon moves and stuff like that as well.
There's a lot of some improvement of quality of life improvements that have been made in this. I don't know if this will stick around, but having the PC in the bag was really weird at first, but it's really handy as well.
I think with the game that they made, there was no other way they were going to do it. When you think about it, you're catching all these Pokemon all the time, your bag fills up and
yeah, true, yeah.
You're going to run back to the Pokemon Center just to empty your box. So that's a pain in the bum. When you think of it from that perspective, it's too much. Yeah. So, you know what? Having your box in your bag, that was super handy for this type of game. There's a lot of, in saying that there's a lot of handy tidbits to this game, like super techniques and the Pokemon box in the bag. I feel like they would not translate well into a mainline series game.
Well, the super techniques are pretty similar to what was in Sun and Moon. with the with like the Pokemon abilities where
Poker Ride.
the Poker Ride where you get the Charizard and the Fly.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's pretty much the same thing as that.
I'm not saying super techniques specifically. I'm saying more like the PC box in your bag and stuff like that. Because I feel like obviously if you're not catching as much, you're doing more sort of like kill chaining or something, for shinies in a traditional Pokemon.
Hardcore kill chaining.
Hardcore kill chaining, yes. You're obviously stopping to go and empty your boxes and all that stuff. It's more irritating than it is fun.
Yeah.
So when you're not doing that in Pokemon, because I don't know if you've tested it, because I haven't tested it myself. I've used the same party all the way through. But if you're in the Elite Four or something, can you change Pokemon out of your bag?
I didn't actually try it. No,
I haven't actually tried it. But I would imagine like you can do that in the middle of caves and stuff, which means that you can swap out a Pokemon and they'll be fully healed, and then you can go back in and keep playing, sort of thing.
I never actually tried that either.
Kind of takes the peril out of it a little bit.
Yeah, you can just all right. I guess if you really wanted to, you could have like a team of 30 or however many, and just like keep swapping them in and out of your PC, because you don't have to be anywhere particularly to swap them in and out.
Yeah. And I think like I think that's why they probably wouldn't carry like something like that over. It just so happens to be that the mechanics for this game are like perfect for it.
Yeah.
They thought of all the neat little tidbits to work around the catching mechanic. And they took out all the tediousness of having stuff like HM slaves and stuff like that. I know they did it in Sun and Moon, but it's more traditional HMs in Kanto, obviously. So I'm kind of glad that they managed to find a way to make gameplay straight in and go, and not step out and have to go back to your PC because if you got Rock Smash.
Oh, that was always the worst, wasn't it? It's like, especially that the only good HM moves were Surf and Fly. And Fly was like, whatever.
Oh, Waterfall as well, if you like the physical water type
Waterfall
moves.
was good too.
Yeah.
But that wasn't in every game either.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, no.
It's great for Swampert.
It's also very great for Gyarados.
Yeah. The physical attackers, yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's that as well. Now... Let's now that we've rambled on about the game a little bit.
Actually, just another little quality of life thing.
I
really loved how you could nickname your Pokemon just in the menu.
Yeah.
What a
revolutionary thing.
Well, yeah, it's just huge.
Huge. Yeah, I was sitting on the couch next to Drew and we made a joke about Gyarados, calling him Doritos.
And you just went straight
and we just went and did it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Now my Gyarados is named Doritos.
It's just like
that's copyrighted, by the way.
We've been playing Pokemon games for years, and we've never questioned like, you can't nickname Pokemon without doing
to the name Raider,
or the name Raider, or just doing it straight away. Then sort of this game's doing it like this. You just like change nickname.
Yeah.
In the menu, it's like
it's a lot of quick quality of life stuff, which is great.
It just makes you think, why couldn't we do this anyway before? So there's a lot of things I hope they bring to Gen 8 which just make life simpler. You're not mucking around so much with this busy work. Because there's a lot of busy work in Pokemon, which would be good if they can get rid of. Yeah.
Now this isn't really a structured discussion. So
no.
I'm going to go back to gym leaders one more time. Which I mean it's fine. I think we're both frazzled. It's really hot at the moment. And it's absolutely, I don't know, it's doing me in.
It's doing you in. It's
doing me in. My brain is so frazzled.
Yeah, mine is. So
it'd be cut out by the time that you get to this point in the podcast, but I literally had a brain fart for 45 seconds there and I couldn't speak.
Oh, now you said that, leave it in so I know what you're on about.
No, don't. Take it out. I just wanted to go back to the gym leaders again for a second and how I said like they have more personalities and their gyms are really cool too. I should probably add that in as well. I want to add in a special little shout out for Blaine.
Yeah, Blaine's was cool.
I loved Blaine.
Yeah.
Like he has such a goofy persona in the anime as it is, but like when you were looking back on those games back in, you know, the 1990s as a kid, and you went to Blaine's and you had these quizzes and stuff like that, and it was just a bypass means to not fight trainers if you chose the correct answer.
I was very happy with that, not even the fight trainers.
Yeah.
In his gym.
Yeah.
And the Pokemon Master I got none wrong.
I got none wrong.
Oh, did you get none wrong too?
None wrong.
Oh, you're a legend.
Pokemon Master. But I'm glad that they really translated Blaine back into like that goofy personality, because he kind of just is in my eyes, especially after like Gold and Silver, where he has a tantrum about losing his gym on Cinnabar Island after the volcano exploded, so he had to relocate to Seafoam Islands to run a gym from there.
I mean, you would though. You would be pretty grumpy if your gym just...
You would, but he has a goofy caricature, whereas he really didn't in the original. They took every gym leader serious, like it was super important or whatever.
It's Pokemon, it's serious business.
You walk into Cinnabar Gym, your pre gym challenge is the Pokemon Mansion. We all know that, and you walk in there and it's just like, oh, it's quiz time, and it's the same questions. It's pretty much 1-to-1 the same questions, except for maybe a couple of differences. Like it's like what would happen if a steel type attacked fire type. Like you wouldn't know that in 1990 because steel type wasn't invented until Gold and Silver.
You're like, what is steel?
What is steel? But I lost my shit because
did you find it?
You get to the fourth. Yes, I did find it. You got to the fourth question. And it brought up, is TM34 Tombstoney?
Yeah.
Like, that's like an old, lovely reference for me. I love that.
You're like, wait, what?
What's Tombstoney? This is great. It was moments like that really kept me going through the game, like, intensely. It's just so much nice little things.
Yeah. I really enjoyed like the story beats where it brought like the gym leaders back into the story where they weren't in the original games as well.
Yeah,
like you run back into Brock or you run into Misty again. Like she's just when you run into Misty and she's like, "Oh, I'm just going for a swim because I'm sick of the pool." It's like, yeah, there's nowhere to swim up there, is there? It's Cerulean City. Yeah.
Except under Nugget Bridge and down that lake.
Yeah, go for a swim in the swamp. Just
so. Disconnected discussion aside, I do want to push on to something that has to go with this.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to discuss, Mike?
And that is the Pokeball Plus and Pokemon Go interactivity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason I'm tying them two in together is obviously the Pokeball Plus, if you are uninformed, works as a Pokewatch Plus or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I forgot what they've called it now too.
Go Plus?
Yeah, it's just the Go Plus, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it works as a Go Plus, but it's a Pokeball. And obviously you use it as a controller to play your game.
Mm-hmm.
So I played the entire game with this thing.
I played a lot of the game with this thing.
I did not think, and don't get me wrong, I still have some criticisms about it, but I did not think I would use the thing for the whole game.
I didn't think you would even get the thing, let alone use it for the whole game.
Well, okay, so if you follow my Twitter, you know that I got it for like $10 with the game. Like they cut down my local store, whom I shall not name, just in case, somebody gets in trouble for it or something. They cut it down all the way to $89 for me, which means their store profit was practically nil.
That's awesome for EB Games too.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you're right. No, but no. Well, they probably know the store, but just the town.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the top 30 spenders out of the 8,000 people that shop at their store, so it's about time. Anyway, so I only got it for $10. I was not going to buy the Pokeball Plus because,
pretty sure you said on Twitter anyway, but it was EB Games.
I did.
Yeah. So,
but just in case people were, don't check my Twitter. It's good to not disclose that. Anyway,
Dobbyman.
Well,
what was the employee's name?
I can't tell you that. Look, I didn't make some sort of secreted deal with him. He just gave it for me for the cheapest price possible. So, I don't think they would have earned any profit off of selling me that copy because it was really cheap.
No, they wouldn't have.
They wouldn't have earned a single cent. So, it seems to be our lucky go with Pokemon, doesn't it? We just getting it free and we're getting it cheap, and it's lovely. So I got the Pokeball Plus. I'd played with it at PAX, and I was just kind of like, this is kind of a bit awkward. But they also had it connected up to like security measures and stuff like that, which made it really awkward to hold.
You're strapped in, so it was like a big thick wire between you and the TV, holding this little ball at PAX.
Exactly.
So it was really, really weird. Like I got at PAX. My first impressions were it feels really nice. It's really small, and the 2 buttons could be an issue. That was my first impressions.
Yep. So It's not that I wasn't unmotivated to go and play with the rest of my controllers, but I was just like, what, I've got the Pokeball, so I'm going to play with it. And I really stuck it out, and I worked with it. There's only 3 selection options, which is why on some menus, and you shake it to achieve something, you've got the B button on the top, you've got the A button on the control stick. I'd almost hope that I'd almost wish that they'd changed it from the A button as the top button.
I'm thinking
for sure.
Yeah, because pressing the A button into the stick
means you can move the stick sometimes.
You can move the stick and select the wrong thing, which is something I did a couple of times.
I could not tell you how many times I accidentally splashed with Gyarados.
Oh, really?
Because I've clicked that stick in and it's moved at the same time.
I pressed it in to be like, yes, I want Pidgey to learn Quick Attack. And press it in, it just goes down to no. So not Pikachu. Pidgey did not learn Quick Attack. I'm like,
I guess he doesn't. He doesn't know Quick Attack. Then.
I guess I'm sticking with Tackle and Sand Attack for a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. So there's small little contriving issues like that, but overall, I played the entire game with the Pokeball. It's a controller I could play the game one hand with. Throw on the Pokeball. I didn't have too many issues with it. I know that some people don't like the motion controls and it didn't really work out for them. But
I get along with them most of the time, but sometimes you throw it and you do it, you nail it, you're like, awesome. Then you do the exact same thing, it just flies off to the side. You're like,
see, I didn't have too many problems like that. I think that was more sometimes I just had really bad positioning of my arm and switch, because it's really got to be lined up to where you are to be absolutely perfect 1-to-1.
Yep.
So if you've got your switch I don't know, hiding on the left side of your TV, and you're sitting in the center of your TV and you're trying to throw a Pokeball.
Yeah, because the Switch is pretty much acting like the sensor bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that correctly. But I played it from start to finish with the Pokeball, and I'm pretty impressed with the thing. Now that I'm not playing with it on a security device, still would not pay $70 for it.
Yeah, that's
really expensive. I'm glad that I got it for as cheap as I did, and that's the only reason that I bought it. It's definitely super neat that it's got vibration functions. It's got a pedometer in it. It's got flash memory, so you can store Pokemon on it. It's got the light on the ring around side the button, which indicates whether you've caught a Pokemon or whatever, and its uses with Pokemon Go as well. There's a lot of tech and a speaker as well. When you catch a Pokemon, it plays their cry.
That's my favorite part.
Yes, absolutely.
You throw the ball and you can feel it rolling in your hand.
Yes.
And then when it breaks out, you can feel it bust out and you can hear it, or you catch it and it does the jingle and you can hear the cry and you feel the vibration.
Yep.
It feels awesome. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's without... It does add a little bit more of immersion to the Pokemon experience.
Yeah.
As stupid as it is to say, because it's not hey, look, we're in the year of virtual reality, and it's a really gimmicky type of controller.
It's 100% a gimmick.
It's a 100% gimmick controller, but
it's a fun gimmick.
It's a fun gimmick. Yeah, it's not hey, I'm paying $2,000 for a VR headset to get
$2,000, jeez.
VR. Well, to get a full VR setup.
Yeah, for the computer too. Yeah, right.
No. For a full VR experience, it's about $2,000.
Oh well.
For a basic VR experience, it's about $800 to $1,000.
Yeah.
But it definitely there's a lot in that controller, and if it were used for more things, which I know that's not going to be a thing pretty much ever.
No, probably not, unless they
make some sort of integration with
next year's Pokemon game. You can use it for carrying.
Might use it for Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
there's there will be a whole handful of Pokemon games that'll probably use it,
Mm.
but not enough. Like it's a hard ask to pay $70 for it. That's $30 off a Pro controller, which can play everything.
Well, except for and Mario Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, though. Like,
I know, exactly.
It plays the majority. Or, fine, let's compare it to the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are like $50.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
But they play literally everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, as opposed to maybe by the end of the Switch's life cycle, maybe about 6 games. And, like, the argument of, hey, it has Pokemon Go Plus connectivity. I just want to make mention that I have tried to get this thing to connect to my goddamn phone, and it won't.
No, right. I actually haven't tried the Pokemon Go stuff because I'm not interested in connecting it. But
look, I just wanted to connect it to Pokemon Go just so I could see how it worked.
Yeah.
Because I'd been seeing like even Dylan on Twitter at Viva La Dill. He's been like, you know, posting little videos of the Pokeball Plus. And he's like, oh, this is how the Pokeball Plus functions when you hit a Pokestop or whatever, stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. So I'm like, hey, I want to try and get it, right? My phone found the Pokeball. I connected it to it. I cannot for the life of me connect to it whatsoever. I've tried every troubleshoot in the book.
Okay.
And I've tried resetting the connection and doing it all over again. I can't get it to work. And that might just be my maker phone. But I've seen people having no problem connecting to the Go Plus, which is the wristband, with my phone.
I mean, yours is a Samsung, so it shouldn't be an issue.
It should not be an issue.
They're a
no.
mainline phone, yeah.
So I don't know why it's such a massive technical issue.
Don't know. Maybe it's just I can't speak to it. I haven't tried myself. I wish I should have. Now I think about it, but yeah, like. I'm keen to try it with Pokemon Go, so I can just walk past and that.
And hit a button, yeah.
I really like the accessory. It comes down to whether you want to spend the money on it. If you can get it for cheaper, like Bryce has, and enjoy it that way. But for $70, it's probably a bit much for an ask. Unless you're like really into this game and you really want the experience, with the Pokeball.
Look, because at full price, it's only $20 less.
Yeah, it was $130 the bundle.
$130 for RRP for the bundle, like prior to sales.
And I was going to pick up the bundle on Amazon for $99. I was going to get the Eevee version just for if I want to play Eevee later on the line. I was going to pick up that, but obviously with Nintendo supplying the bundle themselves, that's how I got the Pokeball Plus. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and you'll just buy the Eevee version later.
Yeah,
because this man is a big Pokemon collector and has like every game and every version.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't doubt that he'll probably pick up Eevee as well.
That's one thing with the Switch which is unfortunate, coming from the 3DS actually, because like on the 3DS the save is on the cartridge.
Yeah.
So, if I have both versions, obviously the save doesn't go into the Switch cartridge.
Yeah.
So I can't have both versions and just put one in your Switch and trade Pokemon. There's no way for me to trade Pokemon.
Yeah, you can't individually trade like that. Yeah, that's a pain in the bum.
And obviously with the cloud saves and the save files being locked onto the Switch because they don't want it, obviously not supporting
save
cloud
integrity
saves.
And
yeah. So there's no way to trade with yourself.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard. You have to have friends on the Switch.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit of a pain, like admittedly. But yeah, going back to the original point with the Pokeball Plus, I'm having these issues with my phone and Pokemon Go. I got over my Mew. I did all that stuff. Pokemon Go says, "Oh, look, your Pokeball's there." But it just won't do any of the Pokemon Go functions at all. Like I've used the thing as a pedometer, like with the Pokemon in it. I've been training Pokemon with it on the go. I've had it in my pocket.
And what's your experience with that?
Fine. Good. One step equals one experience, you know. And then you come back, you take the Pokemon out of the ball, and you get the experience. And you also get candies for doing it too.
Because I put my
It's no different to the Tamagotchi.
You mean the Pokewalker from Heart Gold Soul Silver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put my Shiny Arcanine in, and I went to go and get tea and come back, but most of it was a drive, so I got like nothing from it. Probably took like 20 steps into the shop and back to my car.
Yeah, no, I've had no issues with it, and like the pedometer features worked fine. I just don't understand why I can't get the Pokemon Go features to work, because a lot of people are just like, I have no issue with the Go Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm always trying to find the name for that thing because it's just a wristband. I think of it as a Pokewatch. Anyway,
The Pokeball Plus Go.
Poke Go plus Ball Go.
Ball Go.
Go. Like, I see a lot of people that are just like, oh, the connectivity with S7 was shit and you couldn't use Pokemon Go Plus with it. But then you hear people, it's just like, ever since I got my S9, I've had no problem with Pokemon Go Plus and stuff like that. People are all like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. So why am I having issues with the Ball Plus with my phone? My phone's an S9. I'm not sure why I can't get it to work. And whatsoever. I just don't know.
Yeah.
And I use Bluetooth for a lot of devices in my home. We have Bluetooth speakers. We have, the car. I Bluetooth my phone to my PlayStation or whatever sometimes and use it as a keyboard or...
Yeah.
There's all these little things. It's, it's really confusing why the Pokeball Plus just doesn't want to connect to my phone, and I can't find any tech support on it.
Yeah, well, keep us updated, see how it turns out.
I guess. Yeah. It's just confusing. But, like, I suppose summary on that is like, it's neat, but I'm still questioning whether it's worth $70.
Yeah, well, I guess money and value is different from person to person. So I'd probably just say, if you're happy spending that much, $70 on an accessory that works with only one game and, does
one game at the time. Yeah,
does what the Joy-Con, which you already does.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say go for it. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to have a Pokeball.
Yeah, it adds more of an experience to your Pokemon experience.
Yeah. But if that's not worth it for you, which obviously at full price is not the price, and I think would I have paid $70? I think I probably wouldn't have. I would have got it cheaper in that bundle I was talking about earlier. That's where I was like, oh, it's $30 more. Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
$50 would probably be a good, nice spot for me to buy it at.
The early bird sales for this game and the Pokeball Plus have been really good. So if you like, I'm not sure if they'll still be on by the time this has come out. Probably not, but
yeah, be pushing it. Yeah,
do consider, like, if you ever see a box copy and it's on sale and you see it for $110 or something like that, then it's perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the cheapest way you're going to be able to get it. You're paying the worth of a Pokemon Go Plus at that point, which is like $30.
Yep. Well, the Go Plus is $50 at retail, so this is $20 more than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, though. Like,
yeah.
Individual value's worth... A Go bracelet to me is worth $30. I would not pay $50 for an elastic band with a doohickey on it.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
I would not pay $50 for that. But if you pay for the Ball Plus, which is a much better piece of tech than what the Go Plus is, in my opinion, and you're paying an extra $30 on top of the original RRP of $79 for Pokemon, then it's a good grab. I obviously got it cheaper than that, and that made me go, ooh, it's mine. But yeah, I'm a little more skeptical about these things simply because of Pokemon Go's history. Yeah,
just dropping the ball sort of a bit after launch, and
yeah.
Actually, just on sort of the topic of the ball and making it accessible, you put a video on Twitter of you and your daughter throwing the Pokeball Go Plus.
Yeah.
Did she play the game much? Did she ever go?
Yeah. She
How'd you go?
Well, she I was sort of teaching her how to use it, and she finds it interesting. It's just, obviously she doesn't really do much of the walking around stuff, but she finds it interesting that, the ball lights up and the Pokemon cry comes out of it and stuff like that. And
just for context, she's 3.
She is 3.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of really early enjoyment out of it. Obviously, the last couple of days I've been hard pressed for time to play, but when I have played, I've just been smashing it because I knew coming into this week we're going to need to talk about it. She's had a very keen interest in Pokemon in general this week. I've got a game case that I got with I think it was I think it was Black and White, and it was just a Pokeball with 4 DS game slots.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I still got that thing kicking around. She's picking up and that taking that everywhere, because I'm sort of just like, I don't mind you playing with the Pokeball Plus in my sight, but I would not let you take that everywhere. So she's just been taking that old game case around, and she loves that. And she's always had sort of a little bit of an interest in Pokemon. She loves Pikachu, and she watched the Sun and Moon anime with me there for a while. Good at least 25 episodes or something like that before she moved on to the next thing, which she's doing a lot lately because she's 3. So definitely having a lot of fun. Just catching Pokemon with my daughter.
Yeah, so that's so heartwarming to see. Like we've had the Pokemon series in our lives for years at this point.
Yeah,
and like I can't think of anything more positive and happy, sort of as far as video games, that like Pokemon brings to me.
And look, this is what this game's about, really. And I mean, we when we got sent the stuff, there was like a little message written.
Yeah, from Masuda.
From Masuda.
Yeah, the director of the game, yeah.
And it was just talking about how, like, this game is for everyone, not just die-hard fans. It's also for the newcomers and the children of tomorrow who want to play and all that stuff. And, I think reading that, I already knew that was the vision he had in mind when this was going out and this is what was being created.
Yeah, we've been listening to that much information on these games. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. Point, yeah. Like, I already knew, but just getting that message and seeing that and just being like, you know what? Yeah. I guess I can understand, because back in the days, Pokemon was a huge thing for us as kids. And, like, even to this day, I'm still playing Pokemon because I have so many fond memories of just, I played Red, Blue, Yellow so many times, and jumping into this game, I was thinking, am I really going to be that impressed, or it's not the Pokemon game I'm looking for? And you know what? It wasn't the Pokemon game I'm looking for, but maybe it was the Pokemon game I needed. Yeah. Just to remind me why I loved Pokemon to begin with.
It relit the fire for me. Like, the fire never went out. The fire never really disappeared. But
no, it rekindled it.
Just like going off the 3DS run for me was pretty rough. X and Y. I thought X and Y were great. Mm-hmm. Then you finish the game and there's just nothing to do, and it becomes very uninteresting. Sun and Moon, whatever. I can leave Sun and Moon. I think they're the worst in the series.
Yeah,
I can say that pretty easily. Just from the characters don't shut up, and as you're going through the game, it's just like, and you go to the islands and they don't let you explore the whole island before moving on, and they expect you to come back in the post game to check it out. It's like, well, yeah. But whatever. I think these games are great. Going back to Kanto, getting a little bit more of a story in there.
See, I question myself too whether it was just the nostalgia that Kanto that got me, but I really just think that, thinking back on those memories, there's a lot of continuity differences that maybe didn't make a lot of sense, because and we discussed this before the show, but they have 2 different like Pokemon timelines based on a universe that has Mega Evolution and one that does not. Yeah.
So pretty much split off once X and Y introduces Mega Evolutions.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a bit of a jarring thing to me, because there was stuff in the game that was like omnipresent but should have been done with, like Blue's running around and everybody's like, oh look, it's Blue, he's a famous trainer.
It's like, why is he famous?
Why is he famous? He hasn't done anything.
Doesn't sound like he's done anything. No, he hasn't done the Pokemon League or anything
yet. Yeah, he hasn't done anything like that. And for some reason, like, if he's a famous trainer, he was one of the trainers that brought down Team Rocket at Silph. But for some reason,
he hasn't done
he's
that
not here because Giovanni's doing it here. Like, it's really strange.
Well, he helped out with us, but he was famous before then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't know. Yeah.
It's really confusing, and it's really confusing in that sense. But I didn't care.
No, not at all. I thought every time Blue showed up, or like a familiar character, I was like, "Yay,
yay! It's Blue."
Yeah, it's Blue. The asshole.
He does the smell you later thing with the fingers.
Oh,
he goes, "Smell you later."
Yeah, you actually see it.
There was like so much so much that really just come out of that game and just made me smile.
Yeah, there's
For the fact I love Pokemon.
Yeah, there's so much to love in this game, and one thing I loved as well was just like finally Pokemon is on a console.
Yeah,
it's on the TV. The music is beautifully done, and it's coming through my loudspeakers. It kind of just with the music, it sounded awesome. I loved every remix. I think it was just fantastically done. But every now and again, it's like you verse your rival, and it's just like the normal battle music. It's like, oh, how come he doesn't get his own theme?
Yeah,
and things like that. I'm like, oh, they should have his own theme. But I guess they said, nah, don't worry about it.
Well,
no.
Doesn't matter, I guess. They kept most of it pretty similar to the source material. They gave your partner Pokemon a lot more personality too. Like, there was obviously Pikachu had a lot of personality in Yellow. Especially like back in the day, just thinking about it, like talking to Pikachu was an experience every different time. Like as you're watching your Pikachu grow and love you more, or he hated you at the start, and you know, that sort of thing. But they brought it more to life, obviously, with the new technology that we have in these days.
I think so. I think they brought it to life a bit more,
and it's really nice. You know, it made me think of those things back as a kid, because obviously when you're a kid, something as simple as talking to Pikachu and seeing a still of him being angry or sad or happy or something like that alone makes you imaginative, and just being like, oh, it's okay, buddy, we'll make you better, or yeah, I'm glad you're happy, or you know, something like that. But like as adults, you don't really feel like something like that from just a static image.
Yeah.
You know, but now that we've got a 3D model that like gets happy when we pat it or give it a berry, or
just like
is surprised when we catch a legendary Pokemon,
or you're like in a different, like you're in Lavender Town and it's like shaking, it's because it's scared, and stuff like that. I thought that was brilliant, like how they bring your partner Pokemon to life.
How it looks exacerbated whenever you beat Team Rocket and just has that disappointed that like look.
Yeah.
It's great. It's definitely the Pokemon game I needed, I think.
Yeah. So just to wrap things up, so next year we've got the Gen 8 games. They're going back to the core way, apparently, of how the Pokemon series has been in the past. What are some things you'd like to see carried over from this, or how do you think this game might affect next year's game?
I don't want it to affect next year's game too much. I think, as much as I said I've needed this game, a more definitive Pokemon experience with more like in-depth mechanics and stuff like that is something that I've grew into now.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it can be ignored. Obviously, there's a lot of success going with this game. This game's actually, you know, blowing up quite well.
It's gonna be huge. Like
It's absolutely is. But you know, when Pokemon Go came out, people were jumping into Sun and Moon and stuff like that, and I'd like to say that it was Pokemon Go's fault that it was way too simple. To be completely honest with you,
this game, or
no, Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon. That wasn't my problem with the game being simple and easy.
There was so much hand holding though.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And it's like you get to a town and they say, "Hey," and they just talk a bunch of crap. It's like not even interesting, not helpful. But
look, have you ever used an antidote before? Or meanwhile, you're like in like the 9th trial. Have you ever used an antidote before? Yes.
Or the trial where it's like, we don't have a trial.
Yeah.
At the end, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sort of happy there's not a trial, so this goddamn game ends a bit quicker.
I just think like they really streamlined it and sort of made it more of a, I don't even know what to call it. Maybe a more casual experience.
That's casual.
I don't think anybody wants that in their mainline Pokemon game.
No.
You know, the Pokemon metagame peaked when it was like Diamond and Pearl, Black and White. It sort of stayed around the same area. X and Y, it started to dip, and then Sun and Moon, it just like dropped into a pit.
Yeah, I'm happy with these. I'm happy with this game and the next game in the series being like completely different. Obviously, this is going to be more of a spin-off series rather than.
This is a game I go back to when I'm feeling simple.
Yeah, exactly. You just want like this is going to be good. Like you're feeling hungry, you're feeling like something a bit like familiar, and you go back to this.
Yeah,
I think that's why we enjoyed it so much. It's familiar, but it's different. It's new. It's pretty.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's great. But next year it's going to be pretty much back to what we expect. Be interesting to see if they evolve it next year and like they do something. They evolve the series into something that's not just what Sun and Moon was and that, or they just just continue on the same trajectory. But something I'd like to see is like the catching combos and stuff like that. I'd love to see that go to a main series.
Yeah,
not throwing the balls with them. Like with
I wouldn't care.
controls.
I wouldn't even care if that was in. To be honest,
really,
I like the catching combos just fine, and I like the challenge.
Like I'm talking about like still weakening the Pokemon, still paralyzing it, still battling it, but encouraging you to catch more Pokemon.
Yeah, giving you an incentive.
Yeah, and giving you an easy way to sort of know how to get better stats and
because
aim for shinies.
Pokemon lost its drive really quickly with its motto, which is "Got to catch them all."
Yeah, well, they literally dropped it, didn't they?
They
catch them all.
It literally lost its drive after they introduced over 400.
Yeah,
because it's just like, how are people going to stay interested in catching over 400 Pokemon?
And the random battles, would you like to see them come back, or do you like this overworld, having them in the overworld?
I like overworld, and I think I mentioned to you earlier on this week, it does take out some mystery of what you're going to encounter in the next battle.
Yeah, I'm up in the air. I'm still not decided whether what I prefer. I really like this, how they're in the overworld.
It adds more character to it. That's probably the best part about it.
Yeah.
Seeing Pokemon run around everywhere. But my issue with it is that obviously with Kanto it's not an issue because we're just like, hey, we know these Pokemon anyway. It's like, oh look, there's a Psyduck. But like, you're going into the next generation, let's say that we get the luck of the draw and nothing gets leaked and we don't know any of the Pokemon available in the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I love the sense of mystery, just running into the wild battles and then just being like, guess I'm done here. But then you come back later on for like a story reason or whatever, and then you enter the grass and you see a Pokemon you've never seen before because you didn't stick around just that one battle more.
Yeah, I think you do still get that with this new method of having them in the overworld though. Like every time I entered a route, I'm sort of like, wonder what's in this grass, and you sort of hang around there for a bit. You might use a lure or whatever, and stuff starts popping up. You're like, oh yeah, Nidorina, don't care. Pidgey, don't care. Oh, Chansey's here. Oh, cool. Like, I think you still get that. It's different. It's definitely different. It's not like a loot box. You're like, oh, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Then the silhouette reveals itself. You're like, oh, there it is.
It cuts down game time drastically though. Like,
and it's great too. Like going for the caves and the surfing, you just go around them. You can just get to where you want to go if you don't want to like use repels to get through a whole cave.
Well, so you can still they still give you the option to use repels in the game, but they're almost useless.
Yeah, I've never used one.
I can't tell you I would ever use one because you can just dodge Pokemon.
Yeah,
like I feel like if you feel like you don't want anything in an area, you buy a repel, you use a repel, you walk through that area or whatever. I think like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I would be missing the mystery a bit if it were a completely new set of Pokemon. I like the idea of like, hey, look, I entered a battle, and then it's just like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be. You know?
Yep.
There is a charm to that I would miss if they just removed it and just like, oh, look at this thing on the overworld, and then you enter a battle with it, and then you're like, cool. All right. Like it's almost like a 10-second, like, well, not even that, like a 5-second pre-spoiler of what you're about to get yourself into.
Yeah,
I just kind of like the idea of like running into something like, I don't know, what's a good example?
A Miltank. You find a Miltank, oh my god, it's got an udder, and you battle it.
Okay, let's say we're children again, and we're in the Safari Zone.
Yep.
And you run into a Pokemon in the Safari Zone, and you're just like, you've been like walking through the Safari Zone trying to like see what Pokemon you can find. You've been wading through all these like Nidorans and Nidorinos,
trying to find the goddamn Kangaskhan,
Execute or whatever, and then all of a sudden like pops up a Scyther, and you're like, wow, that's badass. That's a really cool Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely.
if you saw that hovering around, you're kind of just like, what is that? That looks really cool. And then you battle it. I feel like there's not the same sort of like, hey, look, it's bam, it's in your face. It's like, ooh, that's yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I felt the same way with the shinies. I found as well. Just it popped up. I was like, ooh, and I run up to it, not go, oh.
You're not like, oh, jeez.
Because when you're
all my efforts paid off.
When you're shiny hunting, like say in the DS or Game Boy Advance games, like it's just like you can't see the color until it like it goes and does the cry.
Yeah.
And when it goes, it does the little
the shiny thing,
the shine. You're like, oh my god, like straight away.
It's a shiny. Yeah.
With this, you're like, oh shit, there's a shiny. You go up to it, like, oh wow.
Yeah. Shit, there's a shiny. They're right there. He's right
different.
there.
To be honest, I'm going to be happy whatever direction they go with in the next games.
Maybe.
We'll just see what they do. Really,
I just feel like with the new generation, they're kind of just going to keep it back to what they were already doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of neat Pokemon out there, and I feel like their entrance is kind of cut short if you can already see it in the overworld and you can just dodge it or run straight into it or whatever. You know.
What my main hopes for next year are that we've seen a trend since Black and White where Black and White were made for like Pokemon fans, like from like for all ages. It had a great story. They introduced 156 new Pokemon, and they really went all in for those games. But Black and White and Black and White 2 are the worst selling Pokemon games in the series.
But they're also probably one of the best Pokemon games in the series.
But I think looking back on it, most of that comes from it came late in the DS's life.
Yeah, it did.
Where people were already thinking about the 3DS, and Black and White 2, the 3DS was already out for a while actually. Yeah. And with when they went to X and Y, they had a real emphasis on worldwide. Everyone can play this, and we know how X and Y turned out. Really easy. They really went for like a casual audience because they're obviously looking to boost the sales up for Pokemon again, bring more people in.
It's a real shame just thinking on it. Every time I think about Black 2 and White 2, I'm just like, do you remember like the advertising campaign for those games, the features that were in those games, like the Pokemon World Tournament?
Yeah, exactly that. Like the interview with I can't remember who they interviewed for this certain interview, but they were saying like this is for old school Pokemon fans. This is all the characters from all the games in one place. You get to battle them all. Yeah, and they haven't done anything that nice for people like us like since then. Yeah, but like. Just going down the trajectory since then, it got Sun and Moon, which did a similar thing. So the 3DS games are really looking for casual fans, and even in interviews, I forgot the name of the person who it was, the director on Sun and Moon, but he was saying that people don't play games for a long time anymore. They move on to the next thing,
which is a load of crap.
So they didn't bother putting like the post game stuff in. So that's why Pokemon games have had really poor post games ever since. Yeah. So now we've got Let's Go, which is going for the Pokemon Go audience and trying to bring in casual people, trying to bring in people from who played Pokemon games 10 years ago. And so this is a game for them. This is a game for everyone. I'm hoping next year they can point people towards this game and say, go and buy that game if you haven't played a Pokemon game before. And next year's game, Gen 8, is going to be a game that's going to really aim it towards like long-time players again. Yeah, people that want a decent story and want great post-game content and all that.
I want Pokemon World Tournament too.
Yeah, like stuff like the Battle Frontier and previous games.
I've never understood. Like, it has to be because of the 3DS. Why those games sold so bad. I just keep thinking back like to that anime production trailer. It
was amazing.
And how cool that was.
Yeah, at the time I was saying, why isn't this an anime?
Yeah, why isn't this the anime?
They ended up doing Pokemon Origins, like the...
and it was pretty much that.
It was that, but for Gen 1, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like, damn.
Yeah. So fingers crossed next year, the Gen 8 game is like, all right, return to form almost in my eyes. I know a lot of people really did like Sun and Moon and X and Y, but
I want it to return to form, but I want it to build off what made like Black and White 2 so great. Because after Black and White 2, you're right, everything sort of just went shallow. Yeah,
and a lot of people also feel like Black and White weren't great either because of like the
Black and White 1 wasn't amazing. It had a really decent story, But like Black and White 2 is where they really like it made you. If you played Black and White 1 and you were a fan of the story of Black and White 1, Black and White 2 sold the crap out of it. They were just
definitely.
like, holy crap! Like there's this split up team of like bad plasmas and good plasmas, and their conflictions between each other and their friends because they're split up. And
a lot of people bring up like, oh, the Pokemon designs, Trubbish, Vanillux. I'm like, whatever, they're fine. You got in Gen 1, you got like you got Magnemite and.
But then what about Galvantula and Ferrothorn and
exactly? There's heaps of cool ones.
Heaps of really cool designs in that generation. I
remember really not liking Oshawott when they announced him, but I grew to love Oshawott.
Oh, Samurott's a cool Pokemon.
Yeah, he's my favorite because I really liked Snivy when they first announced them.
Yeah.
But like most grass starters, you use them, you're like, oh, damn it, not great.
They're not great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And poor Chikorita. Remember poor Chikorita?
Oh, Chikorita sucks.
Chikorita sucks.
Same thing. Chikorita was my favourite. I chose when Heart Gold.
Meganium. Love
Meganium as well. When Heart Gold come out, I used her and
she sucks.
She sucks. Just all stats are just like
they're hell bent across the board. They're not good, and all the stats,
especially compared to Typhlosion and Feraligatr, like they're like great Pokemon.
Typhlosion was my favourite Pokemon for a long time when I was a kid. I loved Typhlosion.
Yeah.
Typhlosion was
good choice.
Loved Typhlosion.
Always been a Charizard man, but
I just love Typhlosion because he was like this rage-induced weasel on two legs. He was like,
yeah. Oh man,
great.
So,
but
anything you want to add for the games?
I think I just kind of want to summarize. Like again, this has been a really great nostalgia trip, and I've still got a little bit more to do yet, and I will. I'm not going to go. I don't think I'm going to go around and do all the Master Trainers. I think that's way too much time soaking. By the time Smash Bros comes out, it's going to be completely irrelevant to me.
Really?
I do appreciate the post game, but like summer's going to be crazy for me as it is. I play games that have week by week caps and stuff like that. That I have to do that, and then between them, I have to play Smash.
The bloody third job, Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, it's fucking shit like Final Fantasy 14. It'll be the bane of me. But there's in terms of gaming, I've got my set schedule. And I play the games as they're released. If I finish them, then cool. If I don't, then depending on what's coming out, it has to wait. Like Pokemon is an example of that. I'm at the tip top of finishing Red Dead. I'm literally like 4 story missions away from finishing it. But as soon as this came out, bam, Pokemon straight away. Mm-hmm. Because it's important to me.
You smash it out in the weekend.
Not saying Red Dead isn't important to me. Red Dead Redemption 1 was one of my favourite games of all time.
Yeah. Well, Red Dead's also like a huge game, which is best to be taking your time with.
It is absolutely.
And you're not doing a Red Dead Redemption podcast where you have to discuss it.
No.
No.
So it's kind of just like once Smash comes out, I would have played all the content I wanted to in Pokemon and all the extras like the Master Trainers and stuff like that. I might touch them a little bit, but they're not going to take priority over Smash Brothers. And then, moving on down the line, it's summer. I work 2 bar jobs. It's going to be way too busy.
Yeah.
If it were a mainline Pokemon game, it would probably have more of my attention because I would be trying to raise great Pokemon, which I would be able to use for generations to come, which I can't do in this game.
Yeah.
So it's been a great nostalgia trip, and I've absolutely loved my experience with it.
Yeah.
If I had to give it a score, it would probably be 8.5.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate score to put on it. If you have to do a score, like we're not officially scoring it or anything, but just a rough idea. And that's where it seems to fall on Metacritic too. Like a lot of people say, yeah, it's a great game, but Pokemon's one of those series a bit like Call of Duty in that where it's like
it's evolved with its player base.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like that. But then again, in saying that, like as we've just discussed, Pokemon's really suffered since the 3DS generation started because they've just forgotten what kind of people play their games.
Yeah.
I don't mind having Let's Go and trying to introduce people to the series through a means like this, especially with the resurgence of Pokemon Go and all that stuff, and that's great. But in the end, like you have a dedicated player base that has been there for over 20 years, and I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
And my heart says to me is, I appreciate this, as my callback to what made this series great, but I do need my traditional Pokemon again.
Yes.
And I need it to be better than what X and Y was. I need it to be better than what Sun and Moon was. It was not the right decision to go, hey, X and Y and Sun and Moon, we're going to try to cater to everyone. I think this was the perfect move for them to cater to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's why I liked it so much, because this is exactly what it is. This is what catering to everyone should have been.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Should have been that on the 3DS. Not make the main game just piss
watered
easy.
down and piss easy.
Yeah. Because, like, with X and Y, I bought both versions. I played through X.
He beat the whole game with a Pikachu.
And then I said, I'll tell you what. That was really easy. I'm going to try and beat it just with a Pikachu.
He beat the game solo with a Pikachu.
To be fair, it was a great Pikachu. I raised it. So
you had the right natures and everything. Absolutely.
I gave it the right nature, a light ball, and I made sure it had the right amount of IVs to give it a hidden power ice ability. So then it had something against ground types.
Yep.
Where otherwise it would have been vulnerable to earthquake and stuff. So yeah, and that's why I chose the Pikachu version, because I love Pikachu.
He loves him some Pikachu.
I called my Pikachu Pikadrew.
Yes, he did. And Pikachu was level 95 when it finished the Pokemon League in X.
I think it was 99. It was what it doesn't.
I feel like it was 95.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's 90 something.
We were all there to witness it. Anyway, so yes, this should have been what was appealing to casuals, because this is a fantastic game. 8.5 only because I'm confused with the timeline schematics and some questionable things with the game that, probably should have just been either left out or whatever. Perfect experience if you ever want to play it, if you ever want to introduce someone to Pokemon, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
If people like Pokemon Go, perfect game for them. I think it's like a traditional Pokemon RPG with the Pokemon Go catch mechanics. It's, it's great. They've managed to make the catcher mechanic really work well in their favor. Fantastic. But next time, mainline game, make it black and white too, but better. Make it a game I can really build a competitive team around and have a fun go of it, because I'd love to go. I love raising a really good Pokemon, but I can't do that in this.
Yeah, you can't do that in this.
It's impossible. It's literally impossible.
And we knew that. We knew that going in.
We knew that nothing we did in this game was going to matter for future generations of Pokemon to come. Yeah, and it's fine.
What I really appreciate this game done for me too is I've been just with work and being exhausted, and nothing this year has really excited me that much gaming wise. No. Even on the Nintendo front, we've had Mario Tennis Aces, we've had Kirby, we've had these
Mario Party,
we've had Mario Party, and we've had ports from Wii U. We haven't really had anything from Nintendo. We haven't really had anything from.
We've had things from Nintendo, but just maybe not for us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just personally for me, I've only had a few games that really sucked me in, Dead Cells and a couple of indies. But this is the first game where I'm I don't want to put my Switch down. I don't want to put it down. And I played it through the whole week, and I loved every second I played this game.
100%. Absolutely, I agree.
And hopefully this is to everyone who's saying, to all the hardcore Pokemon fans, they're I'm not buying this, I hate this. It's fair enough, but hopefully this game existing will make your game you're excited for next year a lot better.
just to clarify, if you're that type of person, you've been with the Pokemon series from the start. If you're holding off your money from this personally, you have the funds to play it, and the only reason you're holding it off is because it's not the game you want, I implore you to give it a second shot, because I was one of those people too. And obviously I have to talk about it because I'm on a Nintendo podcast and it's one of the biggest releases of the year. But I'm glad I did now.
Yeah,
I paid my $89. I played the game.
Paid your $89 with cheap
exactly.
Go Plus.
That's the thing. I didn't get a free copy. Drew got the free copy so he could review it.
Yeah, and I bought it anyway.
And he bought it anyway, so he bought it anyway. So he has a 100% legitimate reason to, call it out if he needed. But the only thing that I can call it on is that the Pokeball Plus is too expensive. I enjoyed being a kid again for a couple of days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right. Let's end it there, Bryce.
Let's do that.
It's a good episode.
It was a good episode. Bit jumbled, but I think we mainly got our point across.
Yeah. It's a bit hard this time of year, just with how busy we are.
I was about to say it's a bit of an apologetic discussion at the end here too. We're really sorry because it's been super inconsistent.
Yeah,
but
Nintendo, release your games about May, June
every year.
Where it's a bit quieter. Just put all 6 or 10 of them, all together, and we'll get through them then.
Well, because I'm working 5 days a week now too, so it's more of a case of like, what day can we meet up, and it doesn't always work out that we have a same day.
Yeah, just with like farm work and sharing that, like a lot of my problem is like I get back and I'm just like exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like my words at the start of the episode are just like not coming out properly.
Yeah. That's why I had a brain fart mid episode too.
Yeah,
because working a week, but
talking is hard.
In saying that, we're gonna have a bit of time when Smash Bros comes out to have a real
that's
real
the next
good time.
one. That's not even that far away now.
I'm so waiting for that weekend. I'm so waiting for it now.
We're gonna have beers and
Smash.
Yeah. So anyone who's listening to the episode, you're invited if you want to come over.
yeah, just come down here.
If you're in South Australia, feel more than free to come down. We'll play some Smash.
Knock on the door
on December 7th.
I'm buying a case, but it's not going to be able to go around everyone's.
Okay, what are you getting?
I don't know whether I should get Furphy or Carlton Dry.
Get Furphy. Well, that Furphy is the beer of the podcast.
Furphy is the beer of the podcast.
It's official, yeah.
Absolutely.
When Simon come on, he made it official, I think.
All right. Yep. We should also probably get something we could sip on too. Maybe a Captain Morgan.
So we can't sip on the Furphy, but we can sip on the hard alcohol.
You take mouthfuls of beer, mate, and then you sip it. You sip on a Coke and a bit of Morgan.
Well, you nip at it. I don't know if you sip on it. It's not it's not a little juice box.
Mate, I'll drink it with the tiniest straw.
Thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 71. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the House of Mario episode 71. We are part of the 8-Bit Collective, 21 podcasters, and 22.
Why don't you speak properly when you're saying it?
Fine. 22 podcasts, 10 podcasts coming together to create some awesome content for your ear holes every week. Shout out to Nintendo this week for sending us a copy of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu with the Pokeball Plus. We very much appreciate it, and we really enjoyed the game. Thank you. Thank you very much. What else?
If you'd like to leave a iTunes review or just share it on social media, that'll be a great help. Words aren't coming out properly, Bryce.
No, it's just one of those days. It's starting to get into the hot brigs.
Yeah.
Join our Discord community if you haven't already. We talk in there daily with fans, and fans talk with us. So obviously this week we've been talking a lot about Pokemon and the upcoming Smash Brothers Ultimate. If you want to join in the discussion, there will be a link in the show notes.
Nintendo Jukebox this week is Red and Blue Lavender Town Remix version 2 by Glitch X City.
Oh, Glitch X City again, baby.
Yeah, absolutely love her remixes.
Love it.
And I actually picked out a Pokemon one for the Pokemon episode.
Yes, you didn't pick out a Mario Kart track like you did for Smash Brothers last week before I forced you to put in Lifelight, which I'm glad you did, by the way.
Yeah, so am I, because I was just like, oh shit, I didn't pick anything. I'm just like scrolling my phone like, this?
And then I'm just like, no, Lifelight, you fool.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. And hopefully the episode wasn't too jumbled for you.
Yes.
We'll try to return to form soon when we're not so frazzled.
Yep. Alright, guys, catch you next week.
Bye.